Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Incompetenters. I'm your host Tank, along with
D,
and this is our last episode in Drunken Nerds because I'm already drunk. This motherfucker's sobering up because he gotta go to work tomorrow and he gotta go home.
That's right. And this is Chicago, so I'm not trying to be out here caught slipping.
All right.
I gotta be alert.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the story from the last episode. So my grandfather was born in the mid 50s, came to the States, I want to say late 60s, and he used to get his ass whooped by the Gaylords.
Oh shit.
You know who the Gaylords are, right?
No idea.
The Gaylords were an all-white gang. A lot of their signs dealt with Celtic, like the Celtic Knots or Nazi.
Oh wow.
So
what you call it? Gaylord. So that means Happy Lord, right?
I don't know. But so he used to get his ass whooped by the Gaylords. If he was here right now, I could tell him that question. He'll be like, fuck them motherfuckers.
Right.
My grandfather wasn't affiliated with any gang growing up. He wasn't. But he knew people in each fucking gangs. Especially that it made me think how old certain gangs were because of his friends who were in certain gangs.
Right.
Now, I know the Kings were older, but I didn't think about other gangs that were as old as my grandfather.
Yeah.
Now, my grandfather, he's about 60... I think he's going to be like 66, 67.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know how old certain gangs were. So, there was one guy he used to work with. He used to work at a sandwich shop. One thing about my grandfather was that motherfucker could fucking make a sandwich.
Right.
And a bomb-ass sandwich. And, Chicago was known for its sandwiches.
Facts.
So, my grandfather's...
dish.
And pizza, bro. Chicken, pizza, and sandwiches. Like,
Facts.
Chicago has a lot of places beat with that shit.
Right.
But my grandfather used to make...
Shout out to obesity.
So my grandfather used to make these egg sandwich. He used to work at a sandwich shop. It was... their iconic fucking sandwich was egg, ham, and coffee.
Right.
That was their iconic dish. Especially if you go to Puerto Rico, a lot of working class, that's their motherfucking breakfast.
Ah.
It's a motherfucker. It's a fried egg with ham on a long bread, on a sliced up long bread with a cup of coffee.
Wow.
That's their morning sandwich. And it's funny because that's how I make my sandwiches in the morning. Like when I get up and make breakfast, I shit you not, it's either that or salami. And there's even a Puerto Rican salami. It's the same fucking shit. The only thing is a lot bigger slice. It's a lot fatter. So my grandfather was telling me about his friend who was a D, who was a Latin Maniac disciple. So I was like, how old are the Maniac disciples? So I look back. I thought they weren't that old. I thought they sprung up in the 80s. No, these motherfuckers sprung up in the early 70s. So it kind of fits with my grandfather who used to get jumped by the Gaylords in the late 60s, early 70s.
Damn.
So it fits along. So his friend was basically, you could say, was like not a founding member, but was in that time of the founding of the Latin Maniac disciples. And this old man was fucking crazy to the end of his days. He passed away, I want to say, about 5 years ago. My grandfather went to his funeral, and he was a good friend of my grandfather's. But this old man was fucking crazy to the day he died. I'm talking about he was legit gangster. So to cut back, during the Puerto Rican Fest one year, some gangbangers were acting a ruckus. So the sandwich shop, they made sandwiches, but during the fest, they used to grill outside in front of the shop. They used to grill pinchos, basically, shish kebabs.
Right.
Basically, Puerto Rican shish kebabs and some other shit. They used to cook outside in front and sell that shit out front. And his guy was cooking. He was an OD. He was cooking. And one of these young bucks started to get crazy. He tried to, he told him, get the fuck out of here. Take that shit somewhere else.
Right.
Don't be in front. They were giving him trouble. You wouldn't expect an old man to go ahead and lay out some motherfucking young bucks.
Right.
But he did. It was three of them acting fucking ratchet. He laid all three of them out. And I'll never forget, my grandfather was there. Now, grandfather was there working as well, stopping him from basically beating one of them to death.
Damn.
He stopped them from beating one to death. Got the cops in. The cops grabbed these motherfuckers and called it a day. Basically saying it was self-defense. The old man was defending himself. Now, if you were a cop in that case, you saw 3 young guys get the ass whooped by the old man. You would think on them.
You're just gonna side with the old man.
You're gonna side with the old man. 100%. Now, especially if you didn't know the history of the old man.
Exactly.
But when my grandfather told me the history of the old man, he laid out 3 of these motherfucking gangsters, young boys at that. This old man laid them out. And that was because this old man was already not all there in his head.
Right.
And fucked them all up. Especially that the same old man was drafted in Vietnam. So first of all, he was a game banger. Then was a soldier. Came back already fucked up. And went back to game banging shit.
Damn.
Uh-huh. And he was not all there. My grandfather told me that. My grandfather was even scared of him.
Damn.
And my grandfather is not a scary person. My grandfather is not scared of nobody. He don't care. He don't say. He told me, he's like, I don't care how big you are, or how. He's like, I don't care how tough you are, how strong you are. I don't care. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll fuck you up no matter what. Even if I had to bite your balls off, I will. Right. I'll never forget my grandfather telling me that shit. That it hit me to the fight that it hit me to the point that if it ever came to fighting, this is learning from my grandfather. If it came to the point of fighting, fight dirty. My grandfather was telling me that. Fight fucking dirty.
You want to know something? All right, so I have 8 years of experience in boxing and 13 years in kickboxing. And you want to know the difference between who wins and who really loses? The person who's willing to do the most grimiest shit to the person is the person that's going to win.
Oh, of course.
All right, so just like if you're in prison, right?
Yeah.
If a person fights... If it's a person that doesn't want any confrontation, doesn't want to get hurt, versus somebody that's there to murder, that person is trying to murder is going to most likely fucking win.
Yeah, because they're willing to do anything to win the match.
Right. So if you're in a space like that, you have to be the most rough, rugged, grimiest motherfucker in order to win.
So there's another story.
How'd it go?
My grandfather got jumped one time. He was in a building. I think it was his house. No, it was his friend's house. He was hanging out with his friend. He was drinking. He was having a couple of drinks. Just hanging out. And he got jumped in that same building by some, I think it was by some Kings. Now, this building wasn't in King's neighborhood. It was in another neighborhood. Now, my grandfather who grew up was cool with a lot of people. Like, I wish I got my grandfather here. Like, he would tell us, we give him,
invite him to the podcast.
Bro, we give him a couple drinks. That motherfucker would sit right here and talk to us.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker, that might be him ringing the doorbell. Hey. But no, that motherfucker, I want to say he told me he got jumped and that he ran outside all fucking battered and bruises. Now, everybody in the neighborhood knew my grandfather as Poppy.
Right.
They always called him Poppy because he was an older gentleman.
Ah, right.
So he ran out, saw some gyrers out in front. It was a bunch of them.
Right.
It wasn't just a handful. It was a bunch of them.
Right.
He told them there's some motherfucking D's upstairs causing records and that he jumped me. Now, you just jumped Poppy. You just fucked up.
Right.
The motherfuckers ran into that fucking apartment complex and beat the shit out of whoever it was in there.
Right.
It was a bunch of, I want to say it was a handful of Kings. Now you had a bunch of jivers running that bitch and start fucking fighting them, beating the shit out of them.
Right.
I'll never forget that story. Another story was, my mother got jumped. She had this problem with these 3 girls. And these 3 girls, I want to say, were D's. And the store my grandfather worked at, same thing. My grandfather worked at a lot of retails, and he was always a cookie. My grandfather was a cook. He was a sandwich maker. He was he worked in a factory. My grandfather worked in a post office. My grandfather worked in a lot of jobs. But this particular place, he worked as, he was known as, this guy was known as, he, helped out a lot of people who worked in this fucking store.
Right.
And I want to say he makes sandwiches there and everything. So he was known as Poppy because he was old, he was an older guy.
Right.
So my mother came to go visit him. I think she came to bring him lunch or something. So my mother goes, she had my brother at the time. My brother was a baby. So she goes, she's getting the baby, getting my baby brother. These 3 bitches come up on my mom, start causing mayhem, and they start jumping her. They start to fight her. My mom's fighting back, but there's 3 women on one.
So it's only so much you could do.
My mom said she never seen her father like this. My grandfather was always the one who wanted to create peace.
Right.
When growing up, my mother told me that when growing up, it was her mother that taught her and her sisters how to fight, where her father taught her how to create peace.
Right.
Be peaceful. Don't be confrontational. Blah blah blah. So she'd never seen my grandfather ever fight. The day these bitches came to jump my mother, my grandfather came out of nowhere and started punching these dumbasses, beating the shit out of them. Now the gang they used to hang in the corner came rushing, seeing what the fuck is causing havoc. To find out, they're like, they grab these females, and these females are talking shit about my mom. Mm-hmm. But these dudes know my grandfather. Like, first of all, why are you fucking with Poppy's daughter? You don't fuck with Poppy's daughter. Now they're beating the shit out of them.
Right.
They grab them and they drag them away because my grandfather knew them, and the grandfather told them they're fucking hitting my daughter. That shit's not gonna ride.
Right.
So my grandfather started fucking them up, and my grandfather's really, really skinny. So his knuckles poke out a lot. Yeah, they protrude a lot. And I remember when I was younger, me and my grandfather used to we used to slap box. We used to box or slap box without gloves. We didn't have gloves at the time, so we used to box each other. We used to be fun, but even while play fighting, that motherfucker hit me really. That motherfucker hit me, and that shit hurt. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm fucking done. You fucking got me good. And I
plus
fucking left.
That old man strength is a motherfucker.
But yeah. I'll never forget that. My grandfather came in and defended my mother. Real quick, of course.
That's how you gotta be.
Exactly. What if you were in that situation? Your daughter, your old man, your old man, your daughter's coming to bring you lunch, and she also has your grandbaby.
Yeah, I'm throwing hands.
Three dumb ratchet ass bitches come and start jumping your daughter. It's not a point of a man should have hit a woman. It's a point of that's my child, that's my grandchild. I don't give a fuck. I'm about to whoop some ass. And that's my grandfather. He started laying them the fuck out. He came in out of nowhere. My mom says she remembers that they were all jumping and she's trying to defend herself. And the first thing in her head is my baby, my baby, my baby. And she's trying to defend herself. But next thing you know, she said the punching, the kicking stopped. When she looked, it's my grandfather. He grabbed one and straight slugged her ass. And he grabbed another one, straight slugged her, and grabbed another one, straight boom, boom, boom. He was fighting them. Now it was my grandfather against three dumb bitches. Right. Until these motherfuckers come and stop the fight and grab her. And they started getting against them. Right. Because it's like, first of all, stop, don't mess with Poppy, nor his family. Ever since that fight, that was it.
Right.
The bitches never fucked with my mom. Even to this day, my mom even seen a few of them. Never. And then here's the funny part. My girlfriend knows one of them dumb bitches.
Wow.
And it's not like she knows them. She just knew him because of an affiliation with the family. So my mother was telling us the story. She's like, I don't remember her name. So she said a name. And my girlfriend goes, hold on. That name sounds familiar. Searches up on Facebook. Like, hey, is this the person? Wow. My mom's like, that's that bitch right there.
Wow.
My mom takes a picture of it, shows it to her sisters, tells her sisters. Her sisters like, who the fuck is that dirty? Because I forgot about it. It was something. It was like dirty something. They always called her dirty something. So I forgot the name. I'm not gonna even say the name, but it was no matter what. The first fucking part of her nickname that my mom and my aunts called her was dirty.
Right.
The second part was her name. Send the picture like, who the fuck? My mom goes like, who's this? Instantly, dirty whoever.
Right.
And I guess riled up my aunts. I told my girlfriend like, yo, you riled up my mom and my aunts to go hunting.
Right.
You should never done that shit.
Right.
But that this lady is changed, that she's a Christian woman. My mom, that's bullshit. She took every cox in the fucking neighborhood.
Right.
It's funny how shit changes though. How things are like that.
Life changes, man.
Life changes people. That's like this whole, like, this brings me into the whole, like, cancel culture. You know, been noticing that?
Oh, yeah, man. I fucking hate that cancel culture. But I do want to say
it's like what Kevin Hart said.
Yeah. What's up?
This cancel culture is shit. This SJW is like, first of all, people grow. For example, what if I started this podcast off and I was very homophobic?
Right.
But then later in my life,
opinion can change.
Later in my life, I change. My opinion changes. My view changes. But yeah, somebody goes down through my paths and go like, well, he was very homophobic,
Yeah.
and he was against the LGBTQ community. Now, Am I against the LGBTQ community or LGBTQ plus? No, I'm not. And do I feel like, I ain't gonna say I'm the first, but I feel like nobody ever recognizes that plus at the end.
Right.
LGBTQ plus. I'm not against them. I'm all for them. I feel like they should have their rights as well, along with everything.
Everybody should have their rights, yeah.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, they're not fucking with me. Their life standards don't make me not go to sleep.
Right.
I don't.
Facts.
It's like I lay down in my bed right now.
It's not gonna.
I'm not gonna go ahead and be like, I'm not gonna lose sleep because these motherfuckers are able to get married. This is wrong. No,
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, love is love. And it goes back to, remember our first episode? What did Jesus say?
Hey, love fucking people.
Love God and love people. So, and that's not stopping fucking, because guess what? In the LGBTQ community, excuse me, I want to say about half or many or more than half are Christians. Yes.
Yeah, facts.
Yes, the Christian religion doesn't agree with their sexuality. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yes, the Christian religion doesn't agree with their view on their sexuality and anything, but deep down, them people still believe in God.
Right.
Still believe in Christ, and they still believe in the teachings of Christ. That's like the whole scientific community. Not all scientists are atheists.
Right.
Most of them are fucking.
Most of them are
religious
as fuck.
Be it Christian, Judaism, Muslim, Hindu,
It's
Buddhist.
only like a small percentage that are like
Atheists.
agnostic or atheists.
Yeah, small percentage are agnostic or
Super
atheists.
small. Yeah.
But many of them are, have religious views.
Right.
But it's just like, at the end of the day, this whole cancel culture, they'll find something small and then blow it up. And it kind of just pisses me off because it's like, okay, what if one day some news about, I blow up Incompetent Nerds, and next some news came out like, oh, fucking Tank from Incompetent Nerds used to steal from a dollar store when he was a kid.
Right. Like,
Yo, what?
Like, yo, nigga.
Or back in the day, Tank used to play footsie with D, as we're doing right now because you keep fucking shuffling your feet. And now he's against the LGBTQ community. He's like, no, motherfucker, no. Tank used to say the N-word on his podcast. Well,
Right.
D in front of me is black.
Right. It's all good.
Even though I try to hold back, and even Mark tells me like, yo, stop saying the shit.
Right. But so I gotta get ready to go in a few, but I just wanted to just point out like alright, so tying everything up. I'm gonna tie up this damn knot.
But we're gonna have to make at least a half hour. We're at 17 minutes. 13 more minutes and then you're ready to go.
Alright, we'll make
I'm gonna hold your ass hostage.
Alright, but I just kind of wanted to start tying everything together since we're on episode 3.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, as we said from the episode 1, Jesus' main thing was, love all people.
Love God and love all
God
people.
And love all people.
You can't miss the first part. When it came to his rules, he said, and his belief and his commandments was, you love God and love people. Now, I feel like throughout time, that has fallen off. In terms of, we have pastors and priests who don't love God and who don't love people, who have tried shit because of what? Power corrupts absolute power.
Yeah. Power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And by having certain people in certain
absolute
powers,
power corrupts absolute.
Thank you. Thank you for fixing the phrase. Well, the quote. And it's true. And it's not just Christians. It's basically most religions. And we have, 5 major religions throughout the world: Judaism, Muslim, Christianity, Buddhism, and Hindu.
Right.
5 major religions. Now we have a bunch of smaller religions throughout the world, be it paganism, pagan,
or just those religions. There we go.
Zoroastrian, whatever, but other religions as well that's smaller. And it's like, it's true.
Spaghetti monster,
that was created by an atheist to show like, the spaghetti monster. It's just basically him trying to create a religion and show people like, you see how religion could actually get people and change their minds, like the spaghetti monster. And I'll never forget that shit. I was in middle school when that shit happened.
Yeah, that shit's epic, by the way.
The spaghetti monster.
Yeah, that's some epic shit.
How about when they fucking changed the what was the painting that Michelangelo the birth of man?
Yeah.
When God has his finger and Adam has his finger is about to touch, but they change it up with the spaghetti monster and Adam about to touch. I was like,
that's so epic, bro.
First of all, why did you ruin such works of art? That's the most
epic shit ever.
Here's the thing.
That's the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I
think I
said this on my podcast. I'm atheist. But when it comes to... Oh my God, he's atheist!
Oh my God.
Here's my thing.
We have two different beliefs. How could we?
Exist!
Oh no!
Here's my thing. When it comes to the work of arts and art in general, I love it. Especially religious art. Medieval or Renaissance art on religion, to me, it is beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
See the work of art, like the Sistine Chapel and other drawings and paintings of these artists from Renaissance and forward, and how they created this realistic, humanoid artwork on, gods, angels, humans, events. It's just like, it's beautiful.
Right.
And any person, be it atheist or not, could enjoy this artwork.
It's the most beautiful art, ever.
I feel like Renaissance and post-Renaissance artwork is beautiful. Now, what I don't like is fucking modern contemporary. Like, you just do a fucking paintbrush.
Bag at a paintbrush.
You just do a paintbrush at a fucking canvas and called it art.
Right.
Now, that's not art. That's just you being fucking lazy.
Right.
But that's my fucking opinion.
Right.
But when it came to seeing how medieval artwork from European artwork that was fucking not medieval but Renaissance and post-Renaissance and keep moving forward, or even architecture that was like Gothic and then Neo-Gothic and Art Deco and all these other artworks, it was just it's amazing. Especially that in these artworks they have God in it. Yes, it may be Christian base or Muslim or Judas or Hindu or Buddhist or whatever religion base. You cannot sit there and be like, I can't enjoy it because it's based on a religion. No, you could sit there and enjoy it because it is a work of art.
Fucking art, right.
Sit there and enjoy it. Now this comes to the whole fucking cancel culture. Or this bullshit ass SJW culture. Just because they didn't have a black man or a trans woman or whoever within the damn artwork or film or music or movie doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, because it is made of a work of art and somebody who did this work did it with heart.
Right.
What I feel like is, me personally, I cannot enjoy something that was force-fed into there. Because it was force-fed. That's not something enjoyable, especially if it's all fucked up.
Ooh, I got something to say since you said force-fed. All right.
You finish that beer before you fucking go.
All right. So I'm going to stay here a while because I got a whole nother topic, my friend.
Go right ahead.
All right. So, have you saw who the new James Bond is going to be?
Yep.
All right. So, for ladies and gentlemen, if you all don't know, the new James Bond, well, the new 007, technically, is going to be a black woman. And I don't think that it's a natural thing of what they're trying to do. All right. So, for example, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite hero of all time in any movie is Ripley from Alien. That's my favorite fucking person ever. My favorite fucking hero. Okay. I even spent $800 to get her goddamn watch because I fucking love her so goddamn much as being the fucking hero.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that she was just a woman. That's kind of how Alien was set up. She was a hero that just so happened to be a woman. It was no agenda. It was just, she's perfect for the role.
And top it off, good character development.
Oh, it's fucking perfect.
One film. Now,
it's so
do I enjoy good. Alien? I do.
Oh, that first.
Do I like Ridley as the the main character? I do. She was fit for the role, especially Sigourney Weaver, who had a decent career.
Kept that role.
And what I fucking love is how she is she's just she's a major fucking figure in nerd culture.
100%.
Her, Carrie Fisher, and several other people.
Yeah.
Several other women.
She
from the fucking 70s till now are iconic figures of nerd culture. Now, if we break it down,
hero ever. Oh my god!
If we break it down to nerd culture, is it dominated by men?
It's some real nerd shit right now.
Is it dominated by men? Yeah. Does that mean is there women in there? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you look at figures in terms of film, be it realistic or fictional, Ridley, you know, the actress Sigourney Weaver, she's been big in fucking sci-fi and nerd culture. Of course she's been big. Has she done other roles like thrillers or realistic, actual like factual or non-fictional roles? Yes. Yeah. But was she mainly known for? Her sci-fi roles.
Sci-fi. Yeah, 100%.
Her sci-fi fantasy roles. Of course. Carrie Fisher. She was fucking Princess Leia.
Right.
The woman who didn't fucking need a man to fucking fight back.
And did she cower?
Did she cower fucking behind Han and Luke when she fought against Stormtroopers?
Hell no.
What did she do?
She was in that ship. Strap me in. I'm in this bitch.
First of all, Luke couldn't shoot for shit, and she took his motherfucking gun. And then Han was like, was this a rescue mission or what? What the fuck is this? Han thought she was a preppy princess.
Right.
Who, basically, your stereotypical princess, your damsel in distress. Was she a damsel in distress?
No.
At first.
At first. But,
when she was captured by Vader and tortured. At first. But when they freed her, you saw how...
She wanted all the smoke.
She like, she fucking started shooting motherfuckers, started hitting them. It's like, yo, you cannot deny that Carrie Fisher as Princess motherfucking Leia, who was also found out later in life that she was a fucking Skywalker, she was kicking ass. And a fucking force sensitive.
Right.
She was kicking ass left and right.
Right. There's no debate how much of a badass she was.
Dude.
She put in fucking
the first time. Because remember, she told Han, I love you. And he ended it with, I know. Mm-hmm. But then in episode 6, I was about to say episode 3. In episode 6, when she shot the fucking stormtrooper, remember, she was wounded. Mm-hmm. And she says something to him. And he goes, I fucking love you. And turned around and blast that motherfucking stormtrooper.
Right.
She was a ride or die woman. That was your motherfucking ride or die. Now, when it came to nerd culture, it's like, yo, Sigourney Weaver, motherfucking Carrie Fisher, and you can't forget fucking Sarah Connor.
Oh, you ain't lying about Sarah Connor. Fucking Terminator.
Second movie, okay, first movie, you can see it was character development. You know, didn't know so fucking she good. Didn't know what the fuck was going on,
and it wasn't forced. It just so happened to just come out that goddamn way.
The second movie,
and it was so
Terminator 2
good.
When that shit came out, it showed her transformation. Like
she womaned the fuck up. I would say man the fuck up, but she womaned the fuck up.
She knew right away that these machines from the future would not stop until either she's dead or her child's dead. And what she do? That woman got ripped.
Right.
She got ripped and she kicked fucking ass. When the Terminator came, she lost her mind to find out that this motherfucker was on her side.
Right.
And now you had Arnold and her. Forgot her name. Fuck. But you got Arnold and her kicking ass. And fucking Sarah Connor, who was a fucking piece of shit baby in the first movie, came and grew to be a badass woman in the second movie, who was able to hold her own, who teamed up with Arnold, who was sent to protect her son. They both teamed up and was fucking up the T-2000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Was fucking him up.
Sarah Connor's a fucking legend, bro.
Always gonna go down the legend. Now, when it comes down to all this shit,
she's in a new Terminator too.
So to go back, now let's not, drag these motherfuckers nuts. Go back on topic. So when it comes to the James Bond, and that the new James Bond character is a black woman, the new 007, my thing is,
they're reaching
hard. And you know what's funny?
That's a reach, like a motherfucker.
I was talking to my guy, He's been on the show Knight.
And I fuck with James Bond. I love.
Oh, my guy loves my boy Knight. He loves James Bond. And when he fucking saw who the next fucking Bond was, he lost his mind. He was like, "What the fuck?" And this is my guy Knight, black dude, and you can tell by his motherfucking voice.
Right.
He was a guest. And I was telling him, like, bro, I feel you. Feel where you coming from. My problem is, why didn't they go to another number? It's established in the lore that there are other 00s. 1 through 9, I want to say.
Right.
In GoldenEye, there's 007, which is whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah. And then there's 008, who was played by none other than the guy who dies in all the movies. I forgot his name. Boromir. Right. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's those 00, like, there's other 00s. Why couldn't they establish another 00? They could have made her, like, 001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. And my bank account was good. And my bank account was good.
But here, right, and you drove the point exactly to where I want to be because, so, a hero could have his own. He could have his own number. But a woman has to share a number.
Yeah.
With a man. On top of, that's a fucking reach. That's not something that just naturally occurred for her to be a black woman at all. Now, I would have understood it if it was kind of like something that went through all of the Bond movies where it was like like they had the main black Bond girl or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she was just basically, and she was basically in the mix with all of the other James Bonds and kind of carried that tradition. And then you were to pass on later on, you'd be like, hey, that woman that you saw in the earlier Bonds, that person had a child. And now she's going to take on 007. That would have made so much fucking sense. But because there is no connection between any of the Bonds, even the newer last 3 Bonds, if there was like some type of connection somehow that led to this, I just definitely felt like they were just reaching. It was like, yo, black people fuck with Black Panther, that shit
because he's
like
a fucking African character.
And now we're gonna fucking make 007 black because black people buy a lot of tickets and shit, and we think it's gonna be successful.
The thing is with Black Panther,
I'm not buying that shit.
What I love about Black Panther, salud. What I love about Black Panther was because I love the movie. I really liked it.
I really enjoyed it. But
for you, it was a shit movie. For me, I loved it. And here's the reason why. When I started seeing pictures, when I started seeing pictures come up about Black Panther and how not just a lot of black communities in the U.S. were supporting it, in Puerto Rico, a lot of Puerto Ricans started supporting it, especially the Africans in Puerto Rico were supporting it. And growing up, if my grandfather was here, my grandfather would fucking yell in your face that we black too.
No, y'all are.
And my grandfather,
100%.
My grandfather used to rock.
No disagreement.
My grandfather used to rock a lot of like Jamaican colors, or African, black, red, and green. Black, red, and green colors. He used to rock like headbands, wristbands, like the little sweatbands, hats, anything. That motherfucker even had a chain. You think your grandfather or your uncle who's woke, whatever, or your cousin is woke, had the African chain? My grandfather was rocking that shit before motherfuckers that you thought of were rocking that shit. Bro, I'll never forget. My grandfather used to rock that shit back when I was a kid. He actually had a motherfucking necklace with the African continent on it. Because that was my grandfather. He always claimed that he was African.
But I thought that was common knowledge. That Puerto Ricans have the African descent. I thought that was common ass knowledge.
Well, sometimes Puerto Ricans get fucking confused with Mexicans as well. I don't know.
People do. Okay, I can see.
So, long story short,
people don't know.
We'll probably talk about the guy off site, but motherfucker, this asshole called me Mexican.
Ooh.
And it was in the same program me and you were in.
Oh,
he had some food and it smelled good. I was telling him, like, bro, where you get that from? He was like, yo peoples. I'm like, first of all, that is not Puerto Rican. That's Mexican. I was asking where he got it from because I wanted to it smelled
Right,
good.
yeah.
But the motherfuckers decided to get it all racial. Black dude is that. And he's like, it was your people's. I'm like, that's not my people's. My people's Puerto Rican.
Right.
That's Mexican. He goes, what's the difference? Y'all speak the same language. I'm like, the language may be the same, but the culture is different.
Right.
I'm like, first of all,
It's completely different.
the language be the same, but the culture is different. You don't fucking, call a Puerto Rican Mexican or a Mexican Puerto Rican. First of all, that's like...
That should have get you cut. Instantly cut.
And you remember, during that time, I used to carry my knife with me, too.
Right. You get
but I didn't whip the
over
bitch
that
out.
shit.
And before I could even defend myself, what's her fucking name?
I thought that shit was common knowledge.
I forgot the name, but it was
Of
two.
course you ain't
It
gotta
was
say
two
their name.
females.
Yeah.
Two women. I forgot. You know them. You most likely
Yeah.
know them. But one of them was ghetto as hell. The other one was a little bit more sophisticated, you could say.
Yeah.
But both of them black women, and both of them came to my defense. It's basically saying you don't call a Puerto Rican. You don't call a Puerto Rican Mexican. You don't call a Mexican a Puerto Rican. They're both different cultures. Their foods are different. Their culture's different. Their beliefs, their culture's different. Like their style, their speaking is different.
Right.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans and Mexicans can talk Spanish to each other, but there's certain words that are not translatable because one word means another to another. One word means something different to another.
Yeah, same
and that's
language,
all
but
culture.
it's different. Just like
it's like fucking
Cuban
English.
Spanish. Cuban Spanish is completely different from like Mexican Spanish.
You born and raised in
Like
South
if I'm
Side, right?
Mi pidiendo dos un chupitos. That means like shots in Cuba, but in others, it's different.
Let's do it this way. English. You were born and raised in South Side, right?
Right.
You have family or anybody that live in this West Side?
Yep. We speak completely fucking different too.
That's the difference between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans.
Just like
y'all speak the
London,
same language. Y'all speak English.
In London, they speak, the correct English.
Supposedly proper names. But for example,
It's all
you and your
different.
family from the West Side, y'all speak English. But half the time you probably tell your cousin like, the fuck you just called me?
Right.
The same thing with Puerto Ricans and Mexicans.
And another thing, you could talk to another motherfucker that's from another state that speaks English. And y'all should be completely fucking different.
Bro, I was talking today, I was talking to my boy Mark. Mark, I love him. He's my co-host. I ain't
Shout
talking
out to
shit.
Mark.
Shout out to Mark. Bro, I love you. Can't wait to see you in LA. With your Italian sexy ass. He gonna listen to this shit, shake his head like, I hate when Tank's drunk.
Woo!
Woo! But
Shout out to Italy, man. Let's shout out
bro,
Italy
they make
and
some
Italian
good fucking
culture,
food.
bro.
But what you call it? It's like sometimes certain slangs or certain words between me and Mark kind of get mistranslated.
Mm-hmm.
But we try. But one thing about Mark is he's a teacher. He teaches a lot of young kids and whatever words that they say, certain slangs. But then there's Midwestern slang.
Right.
Compared to West Coast slang, Midwest slang,
100%.
Southern slang, East Coast slang. Like, there's shit that's different. So, I want to say Mark does try to, like, because off air, shit, I need another beer. But off air, the slang I talk to Mark, I know half the time he's like, what the fuck did this motherfucker say?
Right.
But other times it's like, okay, when I'm sober, clear communication. And when I'm drunk, it's like the hood comes out of me and I just start talking all types of shit.
I don't know what's going on.
And the funny thing is, this is recorded way before my trip to LA. I've been planning this shit for some time.
Or is it?
No. Or is it? This is after LA. Who knows?
This could be from 2022.
Dun, dun. No. But
2065 podcast? Who knows?
Yeah, this episode's actually gonna come out way after my episode with, him and his mother. And shout out, shout out to Mark. Shout out to his mother. We're definitely doing an episode, and the episode that me and his mother are doing. Mark's mother is a comedian, and I told him I would love to have an episode.
Good.
So what we're planning on doing is having.
I might get some video with that.
I'm thinking about it. But the thing is, Mark's mom is also a stand-up comedian, and our goal is, and I told Mark it would be nice, and I also hit Mark up. Mark knows it. If he listens to this episode, that the first time I went to LA, he promised me a home cooked meal. The fucker never delivered.
Damn.
This is my second time going to LA.
Bring that home cooked fucking meal, Mark.
No, me and him already talked about it. Friday, that Friday I'll be there. We're gonna do some groceries, and we're gonna make a home cooked meal. So him and his mom, and I'm gonna buy a few bottles of red wine, and we're gonna have that home cooked meal. And I feel like with the red wine itself, we're gonna get a little tipsy. So it'll be another drunken cast, and it'll be the first time I'll have a drunken fucking cast with Mark and his mother.
Wow.
And it will be great. When you're drunk, you tell the fucking truth. And when you tell the truth, it makes a better fucking podcast.
It do.
And with Mark and his mother, like, I love my boy Mark. Me and him
Mark's a good dude.
we have done, like, when I went to LA, it was a gamble. I don't know if I was walking into the arms of motherfucking Ted Bundy.
Right.
To find out that, no bullshit. Like, at first I was like, yeah, it's my boy Mark. I knew him since we were fucking teenagers. We're good guys. Then when I went out there, I was like, hey, man, there might be a chance I might not come back home just because I know the motherfucker, but I don't know the motherfucker.
Instant serial killer. You never know.
You don't know. But you know what? He proved it. He's a great fucking guy. He's a great human being. Like, I hung out with him out there in fucking LA. We went out to my guy's Key's wedding. First time I met Key in person. And, bro, it was... That motherfucker, he's fucking awesome. Like, I want to go back out there and go visit Key and do a podcast. He's been wanting me and Mark to go out there to his neck in the woods. And one of these days is going to happen. Maybe next year. Maybe I'm going to save some money and tell him, like, yo, bro, you've been wanting to invite me. The summer's coming up. I'm going to take a week off of vacation. I'm going to head out to your motherfucking place, in your crib, in your neck of the woods. And we're going to hang out, grill, talk shit, play video games, and do some motherfucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Yo.
Because my guy Key loves Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. He's a D&D player. I shit you not, he's a D&D player.
Damn, nerds are everywhere, man.
Dude, my friends are all nerds. Look at you. You're a fucking nerd, too.
Yeah, man. Competitive. All right, so I'm competitive in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, too. So shit is getting fucking real, bro. I don't play Magic. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! Shit is getting fucking real right now. Because we're in the off-season where all of, like, the big main events are pretty much gone right now.
So you're playing with the modern rules and shit?
Yeah, I'm playing with the modern.
When I was younger, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, I have a Magic set. I can show you the motherfuckers right now.
Yo, Commander is the shit.
Who the fuck is Commander?
Oh, it's the 4-player when you, like, play with each other. All right, so... And that's actually one of my techniques I learned to get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! Was to study Magic, because Magic came out way before Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, it came out like in, I think, what, late 80s, early 90s?
Yep, it was like the...
Dude, I found out them motherfuckers in the fucking penitentiary and shit fucking play Magic. Funny story. So a friend of a family who was serving some time in the pen would tell me that motherfuckers there used to play Magic the Gathering.
That's a great fucking game.
First of all, it is a good fucking game. I used to play it with my friend, and I say you should get your hands on it too. I have a shit ton of cards. I could show you it, but
I don't want to get into it because I'm already addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh! But what I do is I study all of the rules from Magic, because I'm gonna plug this YouTube channel because that's so good. So you have a YouTube channel.
You better send me a link because I'm gonna forget about it.
All right, you got it, because it's basically, they're called game nights, and it's like 4 different people, and they all play Magic together, and it's so fucking good because they go off script out of the game, and they tell you about the strategies of what they're gonna do. And what I learned was, with those Magic strategies, and since that's like the oldest trading card game, everything that they have already done or already did or already doing now already applies to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So for me, in order for me to get better and start beating more people, I really just started tapping into the, understanding Magic. Because those strategies still apply to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because a card game is a card game.
I'll never forget, I beat my guy. So I used to play against my guy in Magic, and he was already deep into it. And dude, every time me and him have a match, he whooped my ass. So as I was building my decks, I had an all white deck. So in Magic, there's red, blue, green, white, and black.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an all white deck, which was mostly like angelic, white magic. So I had an angel that every time I pulled out a certain card, this motherfucker got more and more powerful.
Right.
And he had nothing in his fucking. Well, he had something in his deck, but he was not pulling that bitch out every time. And I was rocking. I was just destroying every card he pulled up because that fucking angel that I had was destroying his monsters, and then the monsters I had out could go ahead and attack him. And bro, I'll never forget, dude, this motherfucking monster was like fucking uber OP. Was just annihilating this son of a bitch. And I fucking whooped his ass. I was excited because this is the first time I whooped his ass. And even he says like, oh, I don't know why you're talking shit. You only beat me once. Well, that's all it took.
That's all that matters.
That's all it took, because it took me a while to first build my deck, get everything going, and then finally defeat you. It took a long ass time, but yeah, I'm gonna talk shit because it's like it's an accomplished for me.
Right.
For you, oh, it's just one battle. I beat you 5 times. But that was me learning the ropes. Like, bro, I have a whole mat that I was actually gonna put out for my fucking keyboard and mouse and everything, but it was a little too big.
Yeah.
I wasn't put that
I didn't
out
know
there.
you was into Magic, actually.
I got into Magic because of him. I started buying shit, and then talking to one of my guys at work, one of my coworkers, he was into Magic. He was telling me like building a deck because he built the all white deck, which is all white, all blue deck, which is like water monster. Mm-hmm. They're like the element is water, and they're like a lot of water creatures, and there are a lot of If you build a blue deck, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
basically. And he was something that's what he builds. And that his deck is aimed for you, because in order for the game to end, if you are the first one, you're the first opponent to lose all your cards, game's over. He built this deck that way. He built this deck for the long game. And he was telling me like how, building my deck.
Because with all of the listeners, so with card games, you have different type of roles that a deck could be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to like explain that to them because they probably didn't know. All right, so then you have your aggro deck, which is you pretty much
aggressive.
You're trying to defeat. Right, it's an aggressive deck where you're trying to beat your opponent as fast as possible. And then you have a control deck, and what the control deck is typically it starts off slower, but as the game gets further and further along, the more advantage you get. And then that's when your win condition hits. You're trying to get the advantage over the opponent over a certain amount of time, opposed to aggro decks. But when you look to competitive gaming, most of the decks that really top, well, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! And things like that have the most tops in like history, would be mostly the control decks or a mixture between aggro and control. Aggro works, but it doesn't work all the time, But
yeah.
Which it kind of shows that, slow and steady kind of wins the race. Because as long as you're consistent, then you pretty much should be solid. But yeah, back to what you were saying. I just wanted them to like understand that role.
Even in Magic, like in any card game, any trading card game, Pokemon, Magic, The Gathering,
it's all aggro or control,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Pretty much.
There's aggro, control, defensive, aggressive, control, defensive. There's different
burn and
definitely different strategies you could use. Like some strategies have over others, and it's like, but sometimes, like say for example, control beats aggro, but depending on the aggro fucking deck, that motherfucker could defeat the control if he has the right. If that person has the right cards to literally break control. So for example, I play aggro, you play control, but depending on the cards, I could destroy your control, and from there on out, you're fucked.
Right.
It's like,
because in Yu-Gi-Oh, that's how it is. So
it's like, what can I do?
Right. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, they have a top deck that's control and aggro. So if the aggro goes off first, it's nothing you could do about it because it's going to build this board where it's just going to kill you next turn after your turn, no matter what.
Exactly.
And you also have another deck called Sky Striker, which is mostly filled with like 3 monsters, and the rest are all like spells and shit like that. But those spells will fucking hinder your game and stretch it out so goddamn long.
Back when I was in Yu-Gi-Oh, I I had just fixation on dragons.
Dragons is probably one of the strongest archetypes.
What
types?
I was building a dragon deck until I lost my cards. Like I had the blue eyes, I had the black eyes, red eyes, the red eyes black dragon, the blue eyes white dragon, the dragon master. I had all these dragon types. I was slowly building until I lost my deck of cards, and I was pissed because I would have been in college playing with some of my friends who were still into Yu-Gi-Oh at that time.
Right.
I would have been playing against them, but then I lost my interest after I lost my cards. Hell, if I still had my cards, I would have been playing against you every now and then. Like, yo, D, what you doing this weekend?
Your ass whooped against me.
Psych, motherfucker.
I used
to play handicap mode where it was just me versus 3 other motherfuckers, and I used to defeat them.
That's back in the day. That ain't now,
motherfucker.
Bruh.
I used to defeat them.
The cards are different, bruh.
With the rules, the current rules.
Harder,
hey, I used to play the current rules, the rule book. I used to play the current rule book, and then we used to play the Pegasus rule book where you could summon any monster without sacrifice, but you still had 2,000 life points without attacking the person. Then we used to play the Kaido Saiba fucking rule where you had 4,000 life points, but you had to sacrifice and an attack person. And then we played the rule book where you had 8,000 life points, but you had to sacrifice to summon certain monsters. We used to play 3 different ways. And before we played, we used to mention what rules are we playing by. Pegasus, Kaido, or regular rule book. We used to mention that shit. And half the time, these motherfuckers I used to play against, we used to do Pegasus because they want to make sure their monsters are out in the field. But dude, I would demolish them. And then I had my deck set up different ways. So we'll play rule book, thinking that they will be able to get me handicap. Bro, I used to play against 3 motherfuckers by myself. I was by myself playing against 3 motherfuckers, playing either the rule book, and I would demolish them. And then we used to play Kaido Saiba, thinking like, yo,
Seto Kaiba, yeah.
Seto Kaiba. We'll be like, yo, they'll be like, yo, okay, he beats us with 8,000 life points, but he can't beat us with 4,000 life points? There's no way, especially with the
Seto
Kaiba rules with the 4,000 life points. Nah, homie, I used to demolish my fucking my opponents, bro. I was killing the game. And then the day came, I slept over my father's house and I fucking lost my cards. And I was so mad, I called my pops, told him, I left your cards in your car. My cards ended up missing. I went everywhere. I went crazy. I even had leftover cards, leftover decks that I had, but none of them was good as my main motherfucking deck that I customized. Like, that was my main deck, but depending on the opponents that fall, whatever, I customized that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, my grandfather used to take me to motherfucking comic shops where they had the card battles.
Yeah.
And I used to customize my cards depending on the fucking fight.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll be like, oh, this is a free-for-all. Like, it's just, don't worry about it. It's a free-for-all. But others were like, if you lose a fucking card. Like, we'll go through each other's cards and we'll fucking fight for that card. Like a pink slip.
Yeah.
Basically, if you lose this race, you lose your fucking car.
Right.
So I used to do that shit. And dude, I used to customize my shit like, yo, you know what? This motherfucker has some good cards. I'm gonna have to change some shit up. I used to have my cards on me. I used to change shit up. Put everything together. Boom, let's go. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I got my ass whooped many times and I won many times. And I got some good cards, and I started building up my deck. I lost some good cards, but I gained some good cards.
2019 is a different feel, bro.
Bro, like, right now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not my thing anymore. Magic the Gathering's my thing. And I'm telling you, if I show you my cards, or I even send you some motherfucking videos to watch, you're gonna be like, you know what? I might get into Magic. And Magic
I still don't want Magic, but I fucking love it.
Magic is gonna outlive Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic's been around in the 80s, bro. Yu-Gi-Oh's been around
I'm not disagreeing.
In the early 2000s. It's gonna outlive it.
But that game is still growing like a motherfucker right now. But we'll see.
We will see.
But I guess, alright, so I'm really going to leave legit. I'm going to finish the Squig of Beer, but I wanted to talk about, have you heard of the term of Magic called the philosophy of fire?
Wait, what? I'm too drunk. Say it
the
again?
philosophy of fire.
The philosophy of fire.
Yeah.
No, but
This shit is like it's part of any card game, and it's like the meaning of fucking life, which is it gets super deep.
well, fire did kind of like establish civilization. Without fire,
Just saying,
we would still be in motherfucking caves.
right? All right. So here's what the philosophy of fire is. The philosophy of fire is using your life in exchange for an advantage of some sort.
Yeah.
So in the card game, it means I'm gonna give up life points in order to draw another card, to special summon another card, to set something else. But that also
it's a strategy
applies,
used in Magic.
right? Yeah, this whole philosophy comes from Magic.
I sacrificed life points just to get an advantages in Magic. But yeah, go ahead.
But people do that in real life.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tie it all back with like fucking drug dealers and stuff like that. It's like they're playing the philosophy of fire.
Welcome to EYF Cake, where this is sponsored by. This episode of Encompassing Nerds is sponsored by EYF Cake. I'm still expecting that check, D.
Right, so it's the philosophy of fire because it's like they're trading their life force for an advantage.
Yeah.
Whether if it's cars or money or women, that's what they're exchanging in order to get what they want.
Yeah.
And they're basically just playing Magics in real goddamn life where you trade in something
or
valuable
chess.
for you. Yeah. That's it, yeah.
You know how to play chess?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at chess.
I need to get a chessboard, bro. I haven't had a chess opponent since my brother left this house. And my brother forgot how to play chess.
Yeah.
We're going to play chess one day.
I haven't played in a while, but I'm rusty as fuck, but I'm still
rusty
pretty
as
good.
hell. My last
rusty.
opponent was my brother.
I haven't played in like a decade, though.
I told my brother, do you know how to play chess? The motherfucker told me.
What?
No.
Damn.
As a matter of fact, before you go and finish your swig of beer, guess what I'm about to do?
What?
Call my brother.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
Oh, shit.
It's 9:40. I doubt he'll pick up the motherfucking phone. Because he's a texting type. If you call him, he won't answer. But if you text him, the motherfucker will answer. I swear to God.
Live on the cast.
He was the last opponent I ever had in chess.
Damn.
No bullshit. I taught my brother how to play chess, and he fucking forgot. He ain't picking up.
Please leave your message.
Motherfucker, you never pick up my phone calls.
Yeah, but just love all, love God, love all people,
Love God
Just
and love
like
people.
I was talking about earlier, knowing gangbangers and stuff like that. And I don't endorse, hurting people or, stuff like that. That's not cool, but I do want to say, looking at it from the side of those gangbangers that I grew up around, was like, I fucking get it, though,
Yeah. Wait, what did you get? Explain to the people what you get.
I get the whole thing of, feeling like you're a part of something, bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Being around people that you like being around and you enjoy spending time with. I get all of that shit, Even though I disagree with the violence in the criminal part, but I do understand that human element of, what's it like to be accepted in the tribe. Yeah.
My thing is,
I fucking get it, man.
don't get me wrong. When a club is established of acceptance, but that club becomes a gain, not a gain in life, but a gang. It's like I had to establish the fucking voice. That pronunciation. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, if you look up certain pictures, like if you find out like certain gangbangers and all this other shit, and you find certain things about them, you see like they had certain jackets or sweaters that represent it. It's like, yo, I'm part of a clique. It's like, dude, I'll never forget when I had a student, I had a counselor back in my high school who was a motherfucking, he was in a fraternity. To find out, like, joining the fraternity is like joining the gang.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit.
That shit blood in, blood out.
Yeah, no bullshit. AKA, no affiliation with the book, Blood In, Blood Out, or a king is always a king. You should also read that motherfucker. Have you read that book, Blood In, Blood Out, or King is always a king? It's a good fucking. It's based on a king in New York. It's a two-part series. I think Blood In, Blood Out is It's the beginning, and then Keen is always a Keen is a sequel. It's a good fucking book. It's based on the Keen in New York.
Damn.
Because the Keen started in New York.
Damn.
Latin King started in New York, and this person who created this book was a King, and then created fictional characters based on real people, different names, in the book.
Wow.
Read it. It's a good fucking read. It's crazy. I read it, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But since you hung out with Kings before, I recommend you read this shit, and you're going to be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And
But I respect them, man.
I know you're a reader, and you'll read this.
I read a whole bunch, yeah.
But yeah, but to go back, my last to go back to chess, my last opponent was my brother. I taught my brother how to play chess, and me and him used to play all the time. He beat me, I beat him, and it was a good fucking game. And then after some time, I remember I had a game ready, and I told him like, "Yo, let's play chess." My brother told me he forgot, and that broke my motherfucking heart.
Damn.
Me and my brother used to play Yu-Gi-Ohs against each other. Me and my brother used to play chess against each other. Me and my brother used to play fucking video games against each other. Remember NFL Street?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
that was a good game.
I hated fucking sports games, but when it came to the street versions, NFL Street, NBA Street, me and my brother used to play it all the time. And that's when I started to see like me and my brother kind of like, slowly separate in terms of the type of people we were. Yeah. And to this day, I love my brother. My younger brother, fucking love him. He's my brother. But when it comes to our interests and our views and things, it's like it slowly changed. But I feel like you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You love fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! But I feel like you'll be fucking great in Magic. Just because you know Yu-Gi-Oh! You play Yu-Gi-Oh!
And plus I look at all of the history, I look at all of the books, everything that's from Magic's. Because everything that they have already done in the past, Yu-Gi-Oh! is doing right now. Exactly. So it gives you this big ass
But even fucking Magic is ever evolving, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, I've been in Magic since I was like 7 years old. No, I got into Magic recently, and even I fucking enjoy it.
No, it's a solid game. That's why I always refer back to Magic's to like get, my only thing against Magic is that, after the format is over, they basically, those cards are non-playable anymore. That you got to go with the new format.
Hey, you think this is going to piss off my brother? I text his ass talking about I'm drunk and you never pick up my phone calls with like 5 exclamation points.
Oh my god.
He gonna call me tomorrow like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was drunk and I wanted to talk to you. What the fuck is wrong?
Right.
Oh shit, I forgot to mute this shit. Okay, it's me. We're back to the original fucking podcasting with D and Tank, the love. We got the lovely and sexy Delangelo, Brandon, whatever.
I'm out here, yeah.
D is out here with his earwife cake, and we got Tank and this motherfucker blowing up shit. Let's do this.
Yeah, man, but... Alright, but I'm officially gonna leave now, but...
Yeah, you finished your
beer,
so you're done.
Yeah, there we go, but,
And you gifted me with this half bottle of Jameson, which is not gonna go to waste, especially before I leave to LA. I'm about to...
Yeah,
fucking
that
finish
bottle
this shit.
Yeah, man, but... Love God, love people. And Jesus was dead, but not dead.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
It's the end game.
And D is Baptist, and Tank is atheist.
I'm not atheist, motherfucker.
I said Tank is atheist, and you're Baptist, motherfucker.
I'm not Baptist either.
Hey, before we end,
that way, but it's all right.
Hold on. Before we end, D, what is your religious views?
I don't know. I think I'm agnostic,
We'll end it on that. We'll end it on I don't know. How about that? That sounds better?
Yeah.
So, D has religious views, but he does not fit in a sect of Christianity.
Yeah.
Tank, myself,
it's going to go to hell. No.
Is going to hell in all of his fury and fire and brimstone.
Yeah, you're going to feel all that shit, man.
Fuck you. I'm dragging your ass with me, motherfucker. Don't play.
No, I'm gonna have wings and shit. You can't drag me.
First of all, motherfucker, you
And we
coming
gonna
down
die
with
two
me. Them
different
wings
ways.
are gonna burn.
We gonna
And
die-
they're gonna burn hot.
we gonna
And
die
you
two
coming
different
down
ways,
with
though.
me as a fallen angel.
One of us are gonna die first. The other gonna die second. So yeah.
Well, first of all, you
I'ma
look.
float and then you.
First of
gonna
all, you look
fall.
older than me, so you'll be first.
Right, I'm gonna float first, and then you gonna sink into the goddamn ground. You gonna be like, "Is this China? Why is it so damn hot in here?" And then you be fucked.
I'm in the Gobi Desert and shit.
But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure. This just shows that people can have different views
And
they can
still be fucking
homies.
friends.
That's right.
Before we end this cast, I was looking for an apartment, and I found an apartment. With the landowner was very fucking liberal, like extreme liberal.
Oh shit.
And at the folks on the podcast, they know I'm more of a centrist, which means I have both liberal and also conservative views. And this person I was gonna rent from was extremely liberal. And the fate, when I told her that I have friends who are conservative, that I'm great friends with, she looked shocked. Like, how can such politically different people be friends? It's like, just because me and my friends have different political views doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Right.
It just makes us better people because we could teach each other the differences between, you know, of our views. Like, my guy could teach me, you know, his growing up as a conservative, and I could teach him growing up as a liberal.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit in terms of being friends. So I did not get the apartment based on that, because that person was straight gonna think about using me and my podcast as like a fucking stepping stone for their views. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
Like, I love my boy, you know, for my boy. I don't care for his
Who
views.
gives a fuck about the views? Like,
I don't care for his political
like, I don't give a
views.
fuck about what your views are or who you like or who, you know, or who you
Exactly.
dating. Like, I don't really give a shit. I always hope the best for you, 100%.
And the same goes to you, D.
But it's like, it's not enough for me to like judge you based off of that. You see what I'm saying?
And it's the same way. And the thing is, when I was looking at the apartment was okay. But then when I started to feel like, yo, my landlord is a piece of shit.
Right.
Yo, Siri, I didn't ask for you. But like, the apartment was not all that great. It was a basement apartment, and I was like, you know what, this person is.
Fuck that place.
That person's not ideal as my landlord.
And they're a piece of shit. I mean, sorry.
I didn't say it. D
Sorry,
said it.
not sorry. I said it.
Sorry, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But if you look at Tank, you would not know what race he is. I just want to throw that out there.
First of all, your ass looked at me that way, and when we first became friends, you even asked me like, "Yo, bro, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but
He lying. I ain't asked that.
what
shit.
ethnicity are you?"
He lying. I don't give a fuck
Okay,
about
I am
ethnicities.
lying. I am lying.
He full of shit.
I am full of shit.
'Cause I don't give a fuck about
my
anybody's
dude.
ethnicity.
My dude, his woman looked at me and was like, "What the fuck is he?"
Right.
And he goes like, "Tank, you Puerto Rican?" He's like, "You're Puerto Rican, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Oh," because she didn't know. He pointed at his girlfriend. I'm like, what confused you? The hair? You thought was you thought was mixed? You thought was a light? I'm like, you thought was a light skin?
Right.
Red bone?
Right.
She was dying. She was like, kind of. Like, don't bullshit me. Just tell me the truth.
Right. People like to bullshit each other, man. But it's like, bruh.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining this episode of Drunken Nerds with Tank and D. And trust me, this is not going to be the last episode. There's many
Definitely
more
not. It's
coming.
way more coming.
So, EYF Cake, please follow EYFcake.com, right? EYFcake.com.
You got that shit.
Please follow EYF Dick, EYF Dick. EYFcake.com for, education on investment and all types of
financial stuff. Yeah, there we go.
and
man.
financial
Shout out to
education.
the plug, man.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to Mark. Yeah.
Shout out to UFK. And thank you for tuning in this episode. If you want to follow us on this episode of Incompetent Nerds, please, links are all in the description below. Twitter, Facebook. We don't have it. We had an Instagram. We don't have an Instagram because what's the point of having an Instagram for a podcast?
Makes sense.
Yep. So follow all links are below. EYF Cake will also be in below in the description. Thank you for tuning in this episode. And this is a peace out from Tank and
D.
thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.